Hey YouTube, it's aussieVSG Jess coming in for my week 1 post-op update. Just to give a little bit of background, I had VSG surgery, so that was vertical sleeve gastrectomy at St John of God Murdoch in Perth, WA last Saturday, which was the 5th of July 2014. My highest weight ever was 115.6 kilos, which was 256 pounds. On the day of surgery, after I'd done my 2-week pre-op liquid diet, I weighed in at 106.1 kilograms or 234 pounds. So I had lost a total of 9.5 kilos or 22 pounds just on the liquid diet. So I was absolutely thrilled. I just couldn't believe my eyes. Couldn't believe how much water I was actually carrying, because I'm sure that wasn't all fat, or it could have been, you never know. So on the day of surgery, I went in at 106.1. I had my surgery, which went well. I travelled through my first week, which I'll talk about in a moment, and I weighed in week 1 at 102.4, which is, sorry, let me that's weird throat thing gone, which is 226 pounds. So that means I am down exactly 30 pounds from where I started off, and that was a loss of 3.7 kilos for the very first week, or just over 8 pounds. So I can't even say how ecstatic I am. I just want to scream from the rooftops, it works, it works. You know, you do know this, and you do see so many YouTube videos, and you see people's success and things like that, and you always wonder, you know, will it work for me, or am I going to let it down? But so far so, haven't really had to do too much, because, you know, first week out, liquid diet and things like that, it worked. So I am so happy. As for the week that I've had, I was prepared. I knew what was going to happen. I'd done my research, I'd watched videos, I'd, you know, been on the forum, I'd been on Facebook groups already. I knew what was going to happen, but it hadn't quite prepared me for the reality of, you know, waking up and going through those first couple of days, because that was my first time going through any sort of major surgery. Even if it was laparoscopic, it was my first major surgery that I can actually remember, because the last time I was in hospital I was about 5. So I have no recollection whatsoever of any of the, you know, the drowsiness, nausea, things like that. So you know, I went in at 6:30 on Saturday morning, July 5th, and literally I was in pre-admission, and then suddenly I was in a room, and then 10 minutes later I had probably about 5 nurses come in and get me completely decked out from head to toe, because I was going into surgery at 8 o'clock, which they were already rushing for, but the doctor calls and says about 10 past 7, oh look, I'm running a little bit early, we'll put her in at 7:30. So I had 10 minutes to get ready, get weighed, get everything done, get the stockings on. You know what, it was hectic, but the 2 minutes that I sat in the bed by myself waiting to get wheeled down to surgery were the longest 2 minutes of my life. So I'm so glad I didn't have to wait any longer than I needed to. So I was just, yeah, thrilled about that, but it was whirlwind, seriously. So I went down, you know, talked to the anaesthetist, got everything done, you know, went into the surgery room, you know, said hello to everyone, and then I was out. You know, that was my biggest concern, is what's going to happen when they give me the anaesthetic. I haven't had it to remember it. I'm not sure if I've got to be those people that, you know, just go to sleep and wakes up again, or whether the anaesthetic's going to be, you know, going to paralyze me, and you know, I'm going to feel it all, and then suddenly I can't do anything about it. You know, all those horror stories. And oh, just had a couple of things come up here. There you go. So yes, all was good. last thing I remember, you know, her breathing in the mask, and suddenly I was waking up and I was nauseous. So it turns out, and my mum, funny woman, anyway, she says, oh, I've always been super sensitive to anything codeine. And I was like, oh, cool. And she was like, oh, I didn't really mention it because I didn't know if you would be. And I was like, oh, that would have been nice to prepare myself, because I was nauseous. For the first couple of days I was so sensitive, and it kind of just pushed back my recovery just a little bit, probably about, you know, 2 whole days from when I came out of recovery. Like I was out by about 10 o'clock on Saturday. Yeah, I couldn't get anything down at all up until about post-op day 2 morning. So that was just crazy. They ended up having to give me dexamethasone instead of the concoction that they were giving them, which was an absolute godsend, because, you know, 1 shot at lunchtime on the Saturday and 1 shot at lunchtime on Sunday kind of perked me right up, stopped the nausea, but I was completely reliant on that for then. And then we'd sorted out my anti-nausea and got on the right one and things like that. But yeah, at least I know for next time. Super sensitive to anything with codeine, but the PCA drip was, you know, essential at that point in time. So it was, you know, keep it on and deal with the side effects, or take it off and then have to do other things. And it was just, you know, go with the devil, you know. So anyway, so yeah, it was the first 2 days. Water just was so hard to keep down and get down. I was tiniest little slips, but ice cubes, they were great. So, you know, the hospital kept monitoring that. So yeah, so on day 3, oh no, day 4, technically pre-op, day 3 I was sent home, was just, you know, monitored the whole time, and yeah, finally got some liquids in, had to do the Powerade test. I'm not sure whether you have to do that in other parts of Australia, or you know, over in the US or anything like that, but you have to drink this blue stuff so that they can check for a leak, so they're going to drain and things like that. So you know, the theory is if you drink it and there's, you know, blue stuff in the drain, then you got a leak, so then you've got to go a whole different path. So luckily I didn't have a leak and don't have one so far, so really happy about that. But I will happily never ever have a glass of Powerade ever again in my life, because, you know, from all the reading I did, I thought it was only a couple of cups of Powerade, and the nurses weren't too clear, so they went a little bit conservative and they made me drink the whole bottle, so 600 ml of Powerade. You know, if you did the whole thing, comment down below and let me know, because maybe I'm just feeling crazy at the moment, but it took me from 10:30 AM to 9:30 that night to actually finish it. And yeah, I don't drink Powerade, don't like it, probably never will have it again. Anyway, it's done. So yep, got off that, got onto liquids, had a little bit of broth, which was amazing first thing out, and they went, yep, cool, you ready to go home? So off I went with my little doggy bag of medications and things like that. So luckily, after they took me off the PCA on day 2 at the end, they'd sorted out my anti-nausea and things like that. I really was only on a Panadol drip, so I was kind of determined to just stay with, as long as I could take the oral Panadol, I was happy to go home, because I didn't want to take anything stronger than that and then have to combat the anti-nausea again. So I was like, let's just get me off it, So so yeah, so I went home, had the endone, had other things, had the anti-nausea drugs, but yeah, no, I took the anti-nausea, the antacids only, and didn't take any pain medication, 2 Panadol every 4 hours, and I was fine. So that was fine. But at this point, I'm 4 days out, and you know, it was just a little bit more, took a little bit more out of me than I, you know, the reality took a little bit more out of me than I was expecting, but you know, I should have known. So yeah, so now I'm home. I am, you know, end of week 1, feeling so much better now. Technically is Sunday here in Australia, so I'm a little bit late for my first week 1, so I won't be doing that again. Week 1, so I've just had a fantastic last couple of days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, getting in my water, being on nourishing fluids, having some soup now, swapped my apple juice in my water because I couldn't drink straight water. It was just, yeah, it was just so hard on my stomach, so I put apple juice in there, half, and now changed the apple juice to cordial, which is, I assume, is like Crystal Light in America or something like that. Only 1 calorie, and it just adds the flavour to the water. So much better, such a better alternative, because I looked up, like, you know, a cup and a half of apple juice, which is what I'll fill my water, about 300 ml. What's that? 10 ounces, and no, it wouldn't be 10 ounces. Anyway, of apple juice, and it was 180 or 200 calories, something like that. And I was just drinking that in between. So once I got onto nourishing fluids and was actually, eating something and not so nauseous and getting my water in and things like that, and I'd swapped to having a little bit of pumpkin soup or a little bit of chicken soup or actually eating food, I wasn't going to drink my calories. So I've weaned myself off that, which is awesome, and had an awesome loss this week, and I'm really looking forward to next week. Obviously, in all the downtime, I've kind of been YouTubing like a crazy person, and hopefully I haven't turned into much of a stalker, so sorry if you've seen I've watched like 56 videos of yours. Sorry, but just getting some inspiration in the hard times, So, thank you so much for all those people that I've watched videos of, Harry Draco Girl 1989 and Little Ollie Mel and lots of Less of Sarah. It's just, it really, really helped me actually remember that this actually works, and that was just solidified in my mind on Saturday. So I'll keep going, and so that's my week. So any questions, feel free to comment down below, but otherwise I will see you next week for check-in. So thanks for watching YouTube, have a good weekend, bye!